Welcome guys to the Art of Spiritual Warfare channel. In the previous video we talked about the triad and the fundamental aspects that make up the triad. That is the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. Now we also talked about the physical cogitations, the 7 physical cogitations. In this video we will go more into depth about the physical cogitations and the necessities of the physical human body. Now, we have the physical cogitations: speech, understanding, hearing, smell, sight, taste, touch. All of these make up the 7 senses of the human body. Now, you also have the 4 necessities of the human body. 4 necessities of the human body. That is food, water, shelter, and love. Yes, love. People do not understand how much we need love, which is translated into relationships. Now, these all have 2 aspects, positive and negative. But let's get more into love, for those who are saying that love is not one. Now, there was a study conducted on babies. I believe World War I. It may have been World War II. There was a study conducted. One group of babies got exactly food, water, and shelter. The other got the same thing. There was just one more thing added to that. They were allowed to play with the adults, so they received time and attention, which translates into love. Anybody who's willing to give you their time and attention shows some sort of interest to you, whether it be in what you're saying or maybe you in general. Now, with that being understood, the babies who did not receive the love or the much needed time and attention, they died. The other babies survived. So yes, you do need love. Granted, you may be able to survive for a little while without these 4 main necessities. Yet you will be adversely affected and even die if you don't get the proper amount of these or be provided with the proper measure. Now, let's get into the 7 cogitations and what we can do to affect others and what others can do to affect us and how these affect us in general. Excuse me, my eyes. Alright, so the ears, as we all know, are the focal points of hearing. These ears that God gave us are responsible for receiving vibrations through which we call speech or through which we call sound. Now, that's why you have to be very careful in which environment you place yourself in and who you speak to and who you allow to listen, as well as music, because your ears are always open. It is hard to control what you put into and what you can listen to. Granted, you change where your whole IA is at. And as we all know, IA represents the mental part of that triad of the art of spiritual warfare. You also have eyes. Eyes are in control of your sight or your visual aspect of your 7 cogitations. Now, you have to be aware of what you watch, what you look at, what you see. Understand that colors also in nature help defend spiritual attacks that may try to come upon your person. Now you also have touch. Touch is responsible for things you feel physically. You also have actions with these touch. And touch, as we all know, represents the feet and the hands in action. They're one. Now, you also have smell, and that is represented by the nose. The nose can bring in many, many smells, and you can also be attacked through that avenue. Understand there are certain deadly smells and certain deadly airs and certain deadly chemicals that, if inhaled, may cause you harm and even death. You also have the mouth. which facilitates speech as well as taste. And taste also will translate into the stomach. Understand your stomach is considered your second brain, and whatever you put in as far as food and water into your stomach can affect you as well, which is another avenue of people to attack you, as well as for you to defend against spiritual attacks. Now, with these cogitations, you have to be very mindful that you obtain and uphold these. That concludes the 7 cogitations of the human body. You also have one I failed to mention, understanding or thoughts, which is really connected to the IA, but is also a cogitation. Understand your thoughts proceed out of your mouth, which are speech or vibrations, and they first start up here. So that concludes the 7 cogitations of the physical body. Now let's get back into the 4 necessities of the body. That is food, water, shelter, and relationships, which we all know corresponds with love. Now, food and all other 3 of the necessities has a positive and negative aspect. You can have negative food and positive food, or food that's very, very, very beneficial to the human body, and foods that are that are not malevolent to the human body. They will kill you, or they will weaken you until you die and cause you many health problems. Now you also have water, and it's the same. Water is conducted and measured through its pH balance, as is all foods and liquids and things in nature. This pH balance is also another way to conduct which vibration you're on. But more focusing on the water pH balance. A water pH balance of alkaline, which is 7.0 and higher, is a positive water. Positive water. Now, anything that is 7.0 and lower is considered acidic, and that is detrimental water to your health. Now, you also have shelter. Shelter plays a big part into the art of spiritual warfare. Your environment can mold you into who you are, or into who you are to become. That's why it is vital to be in a great spot environmental wise. Shelter is a necessity. As you can tell with certain plants, not all plants are in the same environment. Some plants need different environments, just like people. Alright? These different environments may be ideal for your IA to grow. Now, you have positive environments, which expand and multiply your growth, and you have negative environments, which cause your growth to come to a halt altogether or to dwindle down. That you do not want. In spiritual warfare, it is either maintain or go up. It's really go up. You shouldn't even think about maintaining. The only way it's about maintaining is just you're at the highest level peak. And I believe only Christ reached that. So let's get into the fourth necessity of the human body. That is relationships. Now, like I said, you have 2 attributes, positive and negative. You can have positive relationships, and there are also negative relationships. Positive is just like positive and negative relationships are just like the environment you in. One can grow you beneficial all the way up. The other one can halt you and actually dwindle you down. And all negative effects of the necessities that you need can bring about death. So for instance, the food you eat that is negative can and will eventually kill you or cause you bad health problems. The water as well. The shelter, there are many shelters and places that are harsh living environments for the IA. You also have bad relationships. People are known to be killed or to have gotten killed in bad relationships. Now, that sums up the 7 cogitations of the human body, as well as the 4 necessities of the human body. The next video will go more back into depth of the mental IA and its cogitations.